So good morning, everyone, and welcome to Women's History Month. My name is Jackie Nagel. I am the Strategic Business Coach at Synovatia, and I'm also the Community Strategist at Eureka. And I'm here today with my good international friend, Christina Carlson, from Queen City Collective. So welcome, Christina.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. I'd
Well,
love to be honored by you. It makes me feel very important.
It's truly my pleasure. We are, Women's History Month is that time of the year when we have an opportunity to really put our business on pause and honor those women who are amplifying the voices for women in business all over the world. And so, Christina, I am just truly honored that you are here with us today.
Thank you.
And you have the unique distinction of being a first in your community. Can you tell everybody what that's all about?
Yeah, absolutely. So Queen City Collective is a community-based co-work space for freelancers, entrepreneurs. We pretty much have a very wide variety of everyone here, which is wonderful. About 4 years ago, I decided that I didn't want to travel so much in my consulting business. I live in a city, Regina, Saskatchewan. It's a smaller city, lots of local agricultural type environment. And I'd always worked elsewhere. I had traveled quite a bit for my career in my consulting business. And when my children were getting older, I wanted to stay home and be a little bit more local and be more available for them. And there wasn't a lot of places for me to otherwise squat or hide out in a coffee shop or a car or whatever to do a lot of some of my client work. So I had an opportunity to work in a space and saw a need and a gap and thought, if I feel this way, there's got to be somebody else who does. So really, I kind of created a place for myself to work that I thought I would enjoy being at every day. And it's attracted a nice little community of others, and we're still growing. So,
and I have seen videos of your space, and it is stunning. It is really stunning. I think you should expand to Los Angeles.
Yeah, I'd love to. The winters there are so much nicer.
Yes, they are. They are. So what you mentioned about your kids growing up and you really wanted to be able to spend more time with them and have more flexibility. What was you had obviously a very successful consulting business. So what was the inspiration for you to launch Queen City Collective, given all the other choices that were available for you?
Really, it was about my intuition played a really big part of it, to be honest. And the opportunity to be a first. There was a few things who have tried to do more property management or artist-based co-work community centers, but there wasn't an actual co-work space, and it didn't make sense to me that we didn't have this opportunity for people. So as someone, my whole career, I worked in a lot of home-based structure or flexible type organizations where I traveled a lot and kind of lived out of a suitcase and was a bit of a gypsy. But at the same time, when you're at home, you're all there all by yourself. And it's not always, fun to, high five yourself when you do a good job at the end of the day. It's like sometimes it's nice to have a person to, talk to about some of the troubles that you're running into.
Yes.
Just know you're supported and have issues, right? Other than your close friends and families who may not experience the same type of business that you have. So
yes. And you know what? You bring up a really good point. A lot of solopreneurs, a lot of entrepreneurs who work from home feel very isolated. And although we'd all like to believe that our family and friends would understand our situation, they don't. And so we need to have conversations with people who've walked in our shoes, that have experienced and understand some of the experiences that we've gone through, right?
Absolutely. And I think it was a point in my life where I'd experienced some burnout as well. Put your job first, but your job doesn't always love you back kind of scenarios.
Right.
So I was really important to me to create a comfortable environment where people felt welcome. There was good energy. There's a holistic vegan cafe on site so that you can nourish yourself and your brain. We have access to trainers and wellness. So to me, it was important to have that holistic piece, because I always say if I ate fast food every day, I'm a risk to my business for doing that as well, right?
Right,
So
exactly.
business is only as successful as you are, and it's really important to me that we created that in this environment for people. And then the other thing that I do in my consulting work is about effectiveness, not just efficiencies. So I really wanted people to be feeling that they're in a safe environment where they could come in and get work done that was effective in actually moving them forward, instead of just sort of swirling around doing the mundane things. So
that's a really interesting distinction in that a lot of co-working spaces in the US are merely places to go, alternatives to Starbucks, if you will.
Right.
And so you're providing an environment that really focuses your members not only on getting things done, but getting the right things done. And so what kind of support do you provide for your members?
Well, I offer coaching for myself. So every membership comes as optional. There's no forcing of it at all, but they have opportunity to work formally with me if they choose for a certain allotment of time, depending on their membership. So that just helps. I just like to help them understand you have a goal, but what's the day-to-day that's going to get you to that goal? But then we have a lot of, well, not a lot, but we have some like coffee times and some engaging conversations of topics and things that have come up in the media or things we see happening in our city, and really create a safe environment for everyone to participate in understanding how their business moves in that space.
Sure.
And in what we're doing with the economy and scaling and all that type of work.
You know, the one thing too that I've noticed about you in the time that I've known you is that you also, it's not really managed by wandering around, but perhaps it's coaching by wandering around, that you are very interactive with your members as well.
I am, and I always joke that I'm probably the only one who doesn't get work done when I come here.
you need your own co-working space.
Making sure everyone else is good. I know. I'm really taking a stronghold of kind of our first year of getting going was, with the operational piece and making sure we can function. But this year is about making really strong partnerships with other collaborative companies in the city. One thing we just launched as well is working with the YWCA this year, so that as a community we can go and give back to our downtown community. Nice. And help people that we need to help. It's hard when you're a business by yourself to go out and give that volunteer time and feel like you're making an impact. But when we're a group of people, I think it helps.
Right.
So I think that's been really important. And I really just listen to what the members need and then try to create solutions for them. And that's really what, as a consultant, what I've been doing anyway. So it felt really natural to do that. And it feels more purposeful when I'm helping people out. One of our members just told me if he just did a meeting for a client, and if he gets the job, which he should, he will have all of his expenses paid for the year. So everything for the rest of the year is profit for him, and it's March 14th there. So
that's exciting.
So I'm really proud of him, and he's been here just a year, and it's just really cool to see people starting to scale up.
Yeah, that's great. And to know also that you've played a role in that.
Yeah.
I know that you're an extremely humble person and probably wouldn't think about the catalytic effect that you're creating, but you really are a catalyst for their success as well, because you're creating that environment for them in which they can better achieve their goals.
Yeah, I think it's important to have that professional space when people come in to meet you. A lot of our clients who have seen the most success use our boardroom quite a bit for their client meetings, invite people in here for lunch and coffee, and then not to say the space is it, but it creates that professional feel when they walk in, I think, right? That, this person's legit, and we're not at a Tim Hortons fighting over our croissants or donuts or whatever. Right?
That's right.
Yeah, so I think it has a really big impact that way.
So being a trailblazer comes sometimes with challenges, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so being the first in the co-working space in your community, what were some of the hurdles that you came across and how did you overcome them?
Well, we joke the gentleman that owns a cafe, and I joke that we often have tree branch line marks from us trailblazers within us in the face once in a while.
Good visual, good visual.
Yeah. It's a tough town.
The Canadians.
Yeah, but it's an agricultural environment where you need to, if you're not sweating and toughing it out and suffering enough, you're not doing it right? That's what our culture is like. So to make that easier, it takes people a lot longer than I'd say other cultures in Canada and in North America to kind of get on board with that. And the awareness side of it, so just introducing what co-working is to the people here and how they can access it, has taken me probably twice as long as I had thought in my business planning stage. But that's okay. I think just being consistent with messaging, it's happening. I get a lot of people still asking me how I ever thought of this idea. And I'm like, it's been around for 15 years. It's not my idea. But so I don't take credit for that, but I take credit for introducing it to them and letting them participate in it. So.
Excellent. So
yeah.
Knowing what you know now,
mm-hmm.
you mentioned about it taking twice as long as what you had expected, which I think is with all of us. It's kind of like remodeling. Business building is like remodeling. Figure your budget is going to be twice as high and the time is going to be twice as long. So knowing what you know now about being in business, what advice would you give to other women who are in business or just starting their business or thinking about a business? You're already out ahead of them. So what would you tell them?
I would tell them that when you have those moments where you think that nobody's going to show up and find value in what you do, you'll double what your expectation is on your good days of the people that will find you. So hold faith that there's a lot of people out there who need specifically that value that you're bringing, and they're just waiting on the edge of their seat for you to introduce it to them. So don't be shy about being loud about it.
Yeah.
I still am not as loud as I should be with a lot of the stuff that we're doing here, but I'm starting to surround myself with people who can help me do that.
Yeah.
So that's another piece is don't be afraid to ask for help, and lean on people who are experts and find people to champion things for you, because it's way easier to talk and pump up other people than it is often yourself.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. So I think that's really important. And also just give yourself a break. It's kind of the other part of it. Be patient and let things come in how they need to. I know you've talked to me about the analogy of like when you squeeze that little bird too tight, sometimes you crush it. So you need to be flexible and let things come as they're supposed to come. So.
Right. That's very good advice. I was going to ask you before we close today if there was anything else you wanted to share. Any other final thoughts?
I think that this has been a crazy journey, but well worth it. I always say Queen City Collective, it's fulfilled me in a way that it doesn't feel like work. And I know people say that and it's a bit cliche, but when you do actually find that for yourself, it makes it easy when it's even the hard days. So I'm really fulfilled by this, so that it's allowed me to even do more things outside of this in my consulting business that maybe I wouldn't have normally done, because I have this place and space that's fulfilling kind of my soul need for what my value is.
Right.
And it's really been fun. It's just been really fun. So,
well, I can't wait to see what is next on the horizon, because trailblazers, they don't stop blazing trails. And so I'm going to assume that as time goes on in your entrepreneurial journey, that there'll be other tree branches that you'll have an opportunity.
There will. I have so many ideas. I feel like I can't even get to the stuff I want to do now, let alone the ideas that I have. But I think as my kids are getting older, I'm finding more time. And some people don't like change, but I'm just going to barricade through some of these things. And it's
exactly.
Be really fun.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, you're the true entrepreneur. Your ideas have ideas. They're like little rabbits.
Yeah.
And the most successful entrepreneurs are the ones that have really acted upon those ideas.
Yeah. I just need to get a little more capacity, but that's okay.
Yes. Everything in good time, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Christina, thank you so much. I really appreciate you and all that you do and what you're doing for our colleagues in Canada in terms of blazing the trail for them and leading the way and showing them the way also to achieving the goals and the dreams that they have for themselves and their own business. So thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime.